Welcome back. The last video I showed you all the different parts of the engine, the different components, their purpose, their function, alright, but I touched on the timing elements and I just want to go through that again in a little bit more detail. So I've loosened everything and we're just going to get straight into it. I'm going to remove these parts, these bits that are hiding the timing elements, and we'll have a look. So this here is just a pulley that's used for the alternator belt, and this here is a bracket, as I mentioned previously, that is for the alternator as well. There might be an engine mount bolted onto that, or actually bolted onto the chassis as well. So this is made out of aluminium, cast aluminium, probably pressure die cast. It's very lightweight, won't corrode, it's durable, so it's ideal for this kind of scenario. It's very cheap. Melts at about 660 degrees Celsius, I think, aluminium. Depends on the alloy that they use. So yeah, ideal for that kind of purpose. This would be just HDPE, high density polyethylene. Should say somewhere on it. I'll have a look later and I'll show you. But yeah, that was just held on with three little metal clips and two little size 10 bolts. So this here now is our timing elements. And if I put back on this pulley, should be able to show you how it actually works. So I just need to tighten this up, hopefully. Right, so if we watch here now, when I rotate this, this should rotate this and keep everything inside the engine in line with each other. So you can see this one here is moving a lot faster. And we're back. So what's happening in there is, in here we can see, or we can't see yet, but the camshafts, so they're on the end of these two smaller little pulleys, they're rotating and they're pushing down on the valves. The valves are then allowing the air in or out, and if I get the camera later, you might be able to hear the air actually moving in and out the engine. Down here, this controls the crankshaft, or the crankshaft controls this, and this gives the power to the rest of the engine, really. So when the combustion happens, it pushes down on the piston, which rotates this, and this is what drives everything else. So you can see here we have the two camshafts, because it's double overhead cam, it's 16 valve, and I'll show that again. This is our water pump, so this is what pumps everything around the engine. That doesn't need to be in time. It's just this and this, so the upper half of the engine and the bottom half of the engine. And then down here is our crankshaft. This pulley here is just to keep this belt taut and in the right position, and this one here is the one that actually specifies how tight this is. So if I just open this, show you that. So watch this belt and see how loose it gets. So when I rotate this now, it takes a lot of the tension off of it, so that we can remove the belt from the pulleys. So it's under a little bit of tension there now, because of this pulley here. So if I loosen this, you can see now that this comes off. So if that snapped while your engine's going, you'd be in big trouble, because what would happen is the valve would end up being down into your head, down into here, into your cylinder, and the piston will come up and actually hit it and bend it, and that is not cheap. So that's the timing. Now, so that you can get a grasp of the other kind of stuff that we're talking about in the timing, what I'll do is I'll move on to this intake, and then we'll start from the head and work our way down. Okay.